Brigitte Muir is one of many to succumb to the lure of the world's highest mountain. Today she flew out of Melbourne, determined to claim the title of first Australian woman to conquer the highest mountain on Earth.
I'm pretty excited. What else can I say? I'm going to climb the highest mountain in the world.
Mrs Muir reached the 8,848-metre summit by the Nepalese southeast side of the mountain.
Her national media was keen to question Australia's first woman to scale Everest.
Australia's only woman to conquer the world's highest peak recorded her victory on a tiny video camera to give people back home a unique look at history in the making.
I can hear you from here. Climbing mountains, whoa, it's way too dangerous, I could never do that. But let me tell you, you are mountain climbers because you climb mountains in your own lives, and they might not be mountains of rock and ice, the ones I've been climbing, but they are real mountains.
On this craggy outcrop in Victoria's Wimmera, a dream was born.
I'm lucky. Or is it lucky? Maybe it's synchronicity, you know, because you start thinking about something, you state an intention. I'm going to live my dream. And what happens? Things happen in that direction. You walk out of the door. You take the first step into the exciting unknown.
Brigitte Muir set herself the goal of climbing the highest mountains on all 7 continents of the world.
Obsessed, that's an understatement.
I'm someone who's always been very good at starting things and not finishing them. And I think, okay, all right, this time, girl, you're going to get a project and you're going to keep going at it until you finish it, right?
It began back in 1988 in Alaska.
And this is Mount McKinley.
All right.
First of the 7 summits.
After McKinley came Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, then Aconcagua in South America, Australia's Mount Kosciuszko, Mount Elbrus in Russia, and Mount Vinson in Antarctica.
The next summit, and the last on my list, is Mount Everest. All right, that's the highest mountain in Asia. Yeah, it's nice to think about it that way. If I think it's the highest mountain in the world, I'll start eating my fingernail. The Tibetans actually call it Chomolungma, which means the goddess mother of the earth. And when you're facing it and you see that mountain filling up the whole horizon, you can understand why they call it the goddess mother of the earth. So I'm there and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I do now? You know, forget about everything I've learned so far, forget about, you know, believe in yourself and one step at a time and all that stuff. It's like blank. I'm so scared. What happens that year is that I don't get up at all. I don't even reach 8,000 meters. I'm not the only one who didn't, because have a look at that. We had terrible weather. We had avalanches, we had storms. Only about 2 people out of 30 got to the top. But I come back to Australia and I tell my friends who helped me, I'm sorry, I let you down. And they said, what are you talking about? This is the highest an Australian woman has ever been on the mountain. We're proud of you. Let's try again. So I think, okay, let's do that. As you can see, it's not very easy to communicate with people when you're wearing a mask such as this one. Now you have to imagine the wind blowing on top of everything else, and you will know that the only way to communicate with your partners is visually. And then the light stops. It's a moonless night. The wind has picked up. And I'm up there at 500 meters, on the side of the highest mountain on Earth. I look up, there's no one there. They've gone. I really stuffed it up, didn't I? I mean, our leader before we left had told us, where is the team? Stay together. And what happens? I'll just do my little me attention in my corner. I don't listen to them. I don't realise how they're feeling. They don't listen to me. No communication. It took me 2 days to walk down the mountain back to the base camp, and I cried all the way down. I was just so disappointed. But I swore that I would be back. I'm going to Nepal this time. I had that niggling feeling from the start on that trip that there was something not quite right. But each time something happened, I went along with it because you've got all that energy from other people and you tend to be sucked in by it. And I'm sure you've had that feeling too, whether you call it intuition, gut feeling, God talking to you, whatever, that you should be doing this, doesn't matter what reason has to say about it, that's what feels right. And it's so easy to ignore that little voice, and that's what I did. Because the others have already gone, I finally followed. You should be seeing the summits, but you can't see the summit because there's clouds everywhere. There's actually a whole bunch of people higher up going for the summit itself. Yes. Well, 2 days later, 11 people are dead. And we on the South Pole, in this kind of weather, we found out later that the wind had been blowing at about 160 kilometers per hour. And we look at the mountain, totally helpless. Well, lots of lessons to be learned from that. Listen to the little voice inside. Yes, lots of lessons. Lessons that I learned climbing mountains of snow and ice. Lessons that I apply to my everyday life. Lessons that can be used by anyone of any age. Lessons that will help you be a better leader, a better team member, a better person perhaps. I want to share them with you. I want to help you climb your mountain one step at a time.